steady resonant, the rival. They call her Christy Farley, not just a name, but a force, a current moving through silence, a spark light in the dark corners of forgotten voices. Spoken word artist, international author, visionary, creative leader. Do you feel it? Every title is not a crown she wears, but a seed she plants, the vision. See, Christy does not just speak, she creates echo. Her words ripple across oceans, bridging cities, bridging lives, bridging souls that thought they were alone. Her eyes, telescopes, seeing galaxies of possibility where others saw only night. Her hands, blueprints, sketching new ways to rise, new ways to lead, new ways to believe. The platforms, a chat show, a podcast, a lifeline broadcast into the world. On Facebook Live, she becomes both stage and sanctuary, turning screens into gathering fires where strangers become friends and friends become family. She is the voice that welcomes you. Welcome to Journey and Gems. And in that welcome you realize you are not just a listener, you are a gem too. You are part of the journey and the vision expands. Journey and Gems with Farley, and poetess and spoken word artist. Member of Two Tempted and the Boss Up Blue Mamba. Not just programs, movements, not just podcasts, bridges for the world to cross. Leadership, Christy is not chasing applause. She's not chasing fame, she's chasing truth. And truth, my friends, is the rarest currency in this world. Her leadership, it does not dominate, it elevates. It does not silence, it amplifies. She lives stories the way sunlight lifts shadows. She builds bridges the way rivers carve valleys. She connects voices across continents, across languages, across borders. Because vision knows no border. The fire, listen. Christy is not just speaking, she is summoning. Every word a spark, every pause a drumbeat. She tells the world, create, connect, believe, and the world answers back. Because her call is not small, it is global. She's not just one leader, she is the echo of many. The rhythm of community, the sound of tomorrow rising in today's throat, the anthem. So let the chorus rise. Journey and Gems, a space for the broken to heal. Journey and Gems with Farley and poetess and spoken word artists, where laughter and wisdom meet at the same table. Raw, real, and shaken truth that dares to speak what others silence. From God's kiss to live streams, her spirit ascends. Christy the host, the visionary, the friend. Her connections circle the globe like constellations, threaded together by her light. CEO, creator, dreamer. Her presence, a song we never forget. The legacy. Mark this moment, cause voices like hers do not fade. They multiply, they ignite new voices, they inspire new leaders. She is the question and the reply. She is thunder and soft sky. She is wisdom written, spoken, lived. And when Christy Farley speaks, the world listens. Not because they are told to, but because they want to. Because the words are wings, the closing. So stand with me as the anthem flows. Raise your eyes to the vision she casts. Raise your hearts to the fire that lasts. Christy Farley, a gem, a journey, a guide through the storm. Spoken word artist, international author, visionary, creative leader. Remember her name, carry her flame, because this is not just her story. This is ours.
Welcome everybody to Journey and Gems with Farley and Friends. Thank you, yay! That is my new intro, and thank you, Andrew O'Leary in Wales. I appreciate you, my dear friend. Tonight we have the best person that I could ever talk to right now, and that is Chris Corbin. I'm going to let him tell you all his beautiful titles as well as friend. So please give it up for Chris Corbin, everybody. Thank you, my dear.
Yes. Hello. So yes, my name is Chris Corvin. I am a Oh, hello, welcome. I run House
Yes,
of Void.
welcome to you.
I run House of Void Productions, which is a publishing and multimedia production company. I also have Creative Catalyst Cafe, which is a safe place dedicated for all creatives in all spaces. But more importantly, especially with this topic right here, I have been working alongside Gems for Gems, which is a Canadian nonprofit charity dedicated to supporting the mission of breaking the cycle of abuse by empowering survivors with the tools they need to rebuild their lives. They have been doing this for so long, and it is a thing that I wholeheartedly believe in and support all the way when it comes to supporting the survivors of domestic abuse and violence. And and even through that, I started creating a documentary that is called Breaking the Cycle, which is dedicated to kind of telling these stories of survivors, and hoping to get that out at some point. But I've done a way too much research into domestic violence, so I like to say I know a thing or two when it comes to this topic.
Thank
And
you
we're
so
getting more
much for
people in.
that. Yeah, we've got more people. So, okay, hi Dakota. Please go ahead and introduce yourself for the audience.
My name is Dakota, and I'm a survivor, I suppose. I'm also a magician and guitarist and a bunch of other stuff.
Okay, it's good to list the other stuff too. We can.
I'm also an actress and an author, and it's always very difficult for me to think of those things. I can't remember
Isn't it
anything.
like
You got to pre-write it. I'm telling you. Like I have a blurb that I go to
You gotta have a
that's just
script,
written
right?
down.
You gotta have
Yeah,
a script.
exactly. Just have it written, memorize that shit, and then you can call on it
That is
whenever.
a really good idea. I should definitely do that.
Well, Chris was able. I'll let him introduce you again because you were an author as well, and he's a publisher. He has a publishing
Oh,
house. So I definitely want to make sure that you guys get connected too as well. Queen, please
Hi
introduce
guys,
yourself.
how is
I'm
everyone?
so
First of
glad
all,
you're
I am so
here.
happy to be here. Hi to everyone already here. My name is T Stacks. I am also known as the Queen of the Five. I am an independent artist out of North Carolina and a culture curator. I do everything from writing movies, writing scripts. I am also an actress. I put on shows and provide other opportunities for artists around me in my area. And overall, I just love to make sure that there's a positive message, impact, and something creatively around for people of just my kind, like-minded individuals, if you will. And I am a domestic violence survivor as well.
Well, I welcome and I thank you, each one of you. To my right, if you're looking at the screen, that is Chris Corbin right there, Dakota.
Yes.
Please tell her real quick, and then we'll get into it, you guys.
all right.
All right. So, Chris Corbin, I own House of Void Productions, which is a multimedia and publishing company. I host a podcast. I do a bunch of live shows. I'm an author, and I do entirely too many things, and I have no free time, and I'm very exhausted all the time. It's just like it keeps getting longer every day. I don't know. I can send you the media kit later if you really need it.
Absolutely, and that's what I will do is make sure that everybody has each other's information because Chris is one of those people that have been writing me for a year now with domestic violence. And so I've been on his podcast as well as he's been on mine. So he's a great place and a person to be with at all times because you feel like you're in the same space as him. He creates that ambiance of love and caring and kindness and being supportive
Awesome.
and being reliable.
I love
So as
Awesome.
I'm telling you, like everything, like I'm gonna make the man cry, okay? Like literally,
I don't know what to do with myself here. I'm just like,
right,
move on, please. Just stop, man. Come on.
Oh, man.
And so, also in Canada, he runs. I mean, he supports Gems and Gems. Is that the name of it? Okay,
Let me on Mike. Gems for Gems. It's a
Gems for Gems. Okay,
yes. they've been around for 10 years. They focus solely on supporting survivors who have kind of gotten out of the system of violence there, and to help them get back on their feet. They have drives, they have scholarships. Like they're big on kind of the aftermath of everything, and helping someone to rebuild their lives. And yeah, they're amazing. Absolutely love them to death. So
Thank you for that. And anybody has any information at the end of the show, please do share, because we will think of things as we're going along. And I want you to be able to share if your resources, what you know, because I am a domestic violence survivor as well, thank God.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't nothing nice. I know this crowd right here is going to be very kind, so I don't have to tell everybody to please do not attack somebody or use your religion as a view to discredit somebody, because last year that was a debacle that I had when I was on somebody else's show.
Ooh,
So I
okay. Thank
said,
God.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, okay. So I'm like, this is my people's, all right. You guys, we're going to be able to get into it and talk. I don't know if you all have the questions in front of you. Do you have, everybody
I don't
have
have
their,
them in front of me.
okay. It's not
I
a
got them on
problem
my
if you
computer.
don't, because I can ask. I just was looking to see, because they are lengthy. If you don't have the time, then we could go to a certain question that you really wanted to answer. But I came up with this with everybody in mind, because I really wanted people to be able to tell their story, and we do want to make sure we are looking at time, because my 7:30 breast cancer awareness show, will be on. So unless you're gonna rock with me there, I know you guys will have to go. So
I mean, I
we'll
got
have
my
to
Stay
see.
pink
on
on. I
task
got
here.
my pink on. I think I'm in theme.
Yes, yes. See, because
Uh,
everybody don't know. People don't know that, this is Breast
Breast
Cancer
Cancer
Awareness
Awareness
Month.
Month.
They
Yep,
don't
nobody
know it's
does.
Domestic Violence Awareness Month. They
Yep.
don't know that special needs pertaining to autism.
Thousands.
No, it's
Yep.
not just in April, it's in October.
Yep.
So it's like, hi everybody, we're doing this. I have never had breast cancer. My family's had breast cancer, but I did recently have lung cancer, and I am in
Mm.
remission. So
Hey,
yes,
that's
all right.
good.
So we're gonna start this off right, okay, everybody.
Yeah.
So clapping for each one of us that have made it through and have are here tonight. Now, one thing I'm gonna ask, and I'll go around from Chris to Queen to Dakota. Again, if you want to say something, unmute your mic and let me know, because it might be a question that you wanted to get to, or something that you might still want to say after somebody else speaks. Okay. So do not be afraid to interrupt me, because I want everyone to be heard. Okay. Chris, did you or anyone you know of that went through a domestic violence relationship?
Yes. A little bit personal, but we'll kind of look past that one for now. But yeah, when it comes to actual people that I know, it has impacted quite a lot of people. Even going into the research of the documentary there, like in Canada alone, in 2022, there was over 117,000 police reported incidents of partner
Oh,
crime in Canada. Like, that's massive numbers. 78% are women and girls. And it's just, it is a terrible thing that is happening that does not get discussed enough, because it is such a controversial topic to a lot of people. So yes, I do know the effects of it, and I have known people, and yeah.
okay, Queen. Thank you so much, Chris.
With my personal experience, yes, I have had not only family members who have been involved in domestic violence relationships. I also myself am a survivor, as I said. And it's something that when you're in it, you don't realize you're in it. And I think that's the most dangerous part about being in a state of a mind where you still think you're a victim, and I'm pretty sure we'll get to that later. But my
Mm-hmm.
experience with it personally affected me in a way that was a very pivotal point in my life, if you will. Because at that point, it wasn't necessarily life or death. It was, is this really what you want to continue to do? There were children involved, and we'll get to that later down the line. And then with the people that I love and family members that were affected by domestic violence, this has gone so far as to police reports, death threats. I mean, if you name it, I have probably either been around it or experienced it.
And we definitely are going to, in the questions, address those things because I really wanted to get to the meat of it all, Queen. So thank you for that. Dakota, please.
Yeah. My mother is actually a survivor of several abusive relationships, and excuse me. And I grew up in that household, so it was very difficult to, you know what? I don't even have a dad. Like at this point, no, because of that.
Oh. Oh wow. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one, y'all. Grab your tissues now, real quick. Because yeah, this is gonna hit us hard. I have been in two of them, and one by default because I have a daughter with autism. And so she has behavior problems. And so that's why today I am disabled, amongst other things. But yes, my disability came from the abuse that I took. But people don't know about, or they don't want to call that abuse. But I realized it about 12 years ago that even though my daughter did not mean to do it, I was still under the threat of understanding the attacks before, with men. So um, yeah, we're going to go ahead and dive on into the next question. Chris, when did you or that person start seeing red flags about their significant other?
In a lot of the research and people that I've talked to and through Gems, the interviews that have kind of happened there, in most stories, the red flags didn't look like violence when it started. They looked a lot like, love that came too fast, affection that needed to be earned, questions that felt more like surveillance, jealousy dressed up as protection, things like that. Like it's at first it's those things that are really easy to explain away and justify within your own mind, and that's just kind of how it shows in there. That's how the pattern kind of starts and begins. Again, going to the statistics here in Canada, there over the last 8 years, harassing communications are up massively, like 38%. Sexual assaults are up 163%. It's abuse escalates very slowly. It's kind of like that the frog in the pot of water analogy there. If it's
Mm-hmm.
boiling water, it's just going to hop out. But if you leave it in there and slowly turn up the heat, it's not going to realize what's happening. Most survivors kind of feel like something is wrong early on, but they didn't feel safe enough to kind of name it, or they thought they might be overreacting, like almost like a self-gaslighting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, red flags aren't so much about spotting abusers as they are about teaching people to trust their own discomforts, to kind of believe themselves when they feel something isn't right. And that's kind of the overall stations of it, when it comes down to starting to see red flags, is trust your gut. It's very important. The
Yeah.
gut knows.
Does it? And I don't know. We're gonna get into it because boy, I was getting ready to start talking to, but all y'all are like we are just sitting at a table at my table, my dining room table, and just sipping on something and just like talking, like okay. So Queen, um, when did you or that person start seeing red flags about their significant other?
So I'll speak personally because I don't want to speak for other people's experience, just based off my own perspective. Um, I love that question, right? Because like you said, like Chris said, when it comes to red flags, you can't necessarily say that you're spotting them or see them. It's just like it's not that big of a deal kind of thing, right? So the way I'll answer is when red flags appear to me, and then when red flags actually appeared in reality, right? Because when you're raised as a little girl from the South, boys hit you because they like you. He didn't mean any harm. So when you're
Mm,
already raised with this type of mentality from a child, oh well, because he pushed me and playfully said, okay, stop playing with me before I you thinking, oh, he don't mean no harm. But there's that reality red flag. But to me, that ain't a red flag. Boys hit you because they like you. He didn't mean any harm. You know what I mean? So I agree with
Mm,
Chris. It's not necessarily something you spot. You just notice, okay, I know not to do this. And you start to alter your behavior to not run into what you think is going to be the traps of making them mad or putting yourself in a position of where that might happen, not realizing there's nothing you can do, right? It's going to happen because that's just the makeup and the chemical compound of what they have going on. But within that, the relationship that I'm going to speak on, we can start either with the playful threats or being told by family members that previous to us being together, that person was in their own domestic violence relationship that they had survived. Two big red flags, if you would ask me.
right.
But you don't see it right away.
No,
Yeah.
no, we don't. And so I'm loving these questions, Dakota.
So I don't really, because I was so young, I don't really remember what red flags really popped up. I just remember the events happening, and that caused me to dial 911 at age 3. It was just it's a ridiculous kind of situation, and I can't really report on that. Like I just don't know.
And I understand and I appreciate that. Because wow, at 3 years old, that and for you to remember that
Oh
starts
yeah, I
a
definitely
traumatic
remember.
experience. It starts like the traumatic experience because you
Mm.
had to do something that young as well. Okay. So Chris, I'll answer real quick. Don't do it, Chris. I see you. Okay, so with me, I will say that you guys are correct because I was going to say I saw the signs. I saw things that were wrong in the relationship, but I was powerless to do anything about it. Once I did cry out for help because my parents were already gone, and so it was just my sisters who were the ones that recognized, even losing a baby. I did. They recognized what I was going through, but they did not want to help. They actually put me back into that situation and made me stay. So I now start to see after that, and I had another relationship. So I got to see things, but I knew I needed help. I was by myself with an autistic daughter, and it was like a lot going on, with my other two children to have to deal with all of that. So yeah, that's my part, was that now I see when certain people start to act a certain way. Now I can see, okay, wait a minute. I'm hearing that gut instinct, that ding, 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 that, okay, wait a minute, back down, back away, because this is not something, that you would want to be around. And so that's what I do now. Now I can start seeing things much more clear than when I was actually in it. So, with that being said, Chris, when did you or the person you um, knew that it was time to leave the relationship?
So this one from a more personal side of things, it was the moment it went from being targeted to the individual person to the children. When you saw that shift and realized that it's no longer just kind of focused in one area, that is a very common one. Actually, it's kind of that um, thinking, everything is fine when as long as it's coming here, it's perfectly fine. But the second that it's starting to be directed somewhere else, that's when it kind of snaps and you're like, oh, I got to do something about this right now. A lot of the other survivors is kind of just a growing ache in the chest that eventually just one day hits that tipping point. Or, if it is with the kids, if they're lucky, they have a good support system that can kind of point it out and help them get out of there. Even statistically there, right now you're actually seeing a lot of people leaving at different stages than you would expect. Like there's a lot more people even 65 and up that are leaving domestic violence relationships now. Like, it's up about 42%. 25 to 64 people leaving is up 32%. So it's kind of showing that people are starting to realize this more. And I think conversations like this is very helpful for that, and to kind of show people that you're not alone in what is happening, regardless of how you feel on the inside. It's knowing that the support is there, and whatever the breaking point is, it's something that kind of needs to happen. And it's the people that don't have that breaking point that breaks my heart the most.
Absolutely. We're just going to keep it rolling.
Um, yeah. Who? Sorry, Chris, digesting that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to take it in and process, and then also keep in mind what the question was. Um,
I
Same
can always repeat a
children.
question. That's not a
Children.
problem.
When did I know it was time to go? The kids, and not just the kids. Because there was fighting and all of that going on. But it was when they got old enough that this one particular altercation happened where the oldest decided to jump in it. And that's when it was like, okay, nope. Mm-mm. And whatever I could carry went with me, and that was that. That was
Right.
just that. That person was never, abusive parent, so of course there was no doubt in my mind that the kids were okay. It was just at that point we were no longer healthy to be in the same vicinity with each other. And if we didn't change their behavior, one of us was either going to get seriously hurt, put in jail, or dead, or our kids are going to grow up thinking this is normal behavior and begin to reenact these things in so many different ways that it was going to unravel a ball of problems we did not want. And that was the day that it was like, yeah, I don't think we can do this anymore. And you're talking about a kid that thinks the world of this parent. So for this kid to jump in and, ready to go to war, whoa, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Time to cut it out at this point. So yeah, that was when was the time to go? That was it for me.
Thank you. Dakota?
Yeah. So I feel like I remember. Um, what do I remember? I don't remember really anything. But it was when he left. Honestly, like he actually walked out of my dad. So I want to specify that. Yeah, my dad like walked out of my face at 3, and I don't know that my mom would have gone anywhere. Like I don't think she would have. I don't know why, but I don't think so. Um that was like the tipping point. He just walked out. I can't tell you why.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that something? Oh, wow. Okay. For me, I knew it was time when other people were telling me that I was bruised. I remember specifically one time I had makeup on, everything else, so I thought you can't see anything, and I was like, yeah, at least he didn't, he doesn't do certain things. And somebody was like, why do you have this then? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh gosh, okay, wait a minute. Like, because when I look into the mirror or anything else on my body, when I'm traumatized like that, I tend to just have a internal defense mechanism where I don't really see the bruises, or I really won't see something like that because I got to get through. I got to have something left to keep pushing forward and not snap, or or get hurt worse myself. And having children really makes a difference when being involved in these types of relationships. And so I knew that also with Queen, what she said about not letting my children grow up and seeing this. And so I did get two excuses of why, and I will tell you guys later, but I left and they told me why they were doing what they were doing, and it was really crazy. So with that being said, Chris, do you or the person you know of have a difficult time leaving the relationship?
Um, I think in almost every single case, the answer is probably always yes, regardless of how much you know you need to do something about the situation. the the logistics and emotional baggage within it causes so much difficulty and stress in regards to it. I mean, you were talking about, the immediate thoughts of where will I live, who will believe me, what about the kids, the bills, the
Mm-hmm.
cars in their name. Like there are
Mm-hmm.
so many questions that can hold you back from making the choice you need to live. And you become your own worst enemy when it comes to it, because most people will stick with the devil they know as opposed to the darkness they don't know what's out there. So it's one of the most difficult decisions anybody can make, especially if there are children involved in that type of thing. It's a There are so many complications that come with it, and having to struggle and get past those things, especially in the early days when there's so much unknown, when there's so many things you don't know about or what to do. And if you don't have a support system, it feels like it's almost impossible to leave, even if you know you should by that point. So yeah, difficulty 100% all the way, 10 out of 10.
Um, it was difficult to detach, but when I knew it was time to go, it was time to go. If I'm being honest, were there several times that I knew I should have gone? Yes, most definitely. But when that moment clicked that this can't happen no more, that was the only moment I think I needed, and I would like to think there was enough that happened beforehand to have contributed to this decision that it was like, I mean, anything past this point would have been just downright crazy. You know what I mean? At this
Mm-hmm.
point, you have not now got to the point of where if you think it's okay to keep doing this, babe, do it by yourself, because no one else deserves to be a part of the circus anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that was just the part we
Absolutely.
got to.
Yeah, it is difficult, and that was my thing, was more so logistic. Um, because I didn't care if anybody believed it at that point, because I actually was on the phone with my friend, my dear
Mm,
friend. So he came, took a 30-minute trip to get to me, because my first partner was like, "Hey, if you don't come, I'm gonna kill her."
mm,
And so that's why I
wow.
was like, "Wow, yeah." And and then to have the backs turned on me, um or and making me feel that, okay, well, I'll be around though, I'll come down and I'll see you and make sure, and it was just like, wow, that's a nightmare when you want to do something. And so I had to make things work out, because I just didn't have the financial means to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, because we run into people that all the time. And I thank you, Chris, for giving the statistics in Canada. I wish that I have done more research now to understand what's going on here in the United States, because those are very important to see and hear about, when you're going through something like this, or somebody who's going through something like this, where you just want to, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. You might even still love that person, but you got to go. So with that being said, did you or the person you know of have to get law enforcement
Ooh.
and or the courts involved? We're gonna go as soon as Chris has got done. Queen, you take over.
All right.
Um, all right, so separate situation. I was in a relationship with someone, and apart we are both amazing people, and even together 90% of the time we were amazing. But whenever there were arguments, it was always very much a water and oil situation. Like there was something about the combination of us that always seemed to just spark and make everything worse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so those escalated there to the point that one night during one of our arguments there was actually cops involved, and the RCMP showed up. There was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. That was definitely an eye-opening situation of I probably should remove myself from this situation. But generally, kind of even just going back to the research that I have done into this topic over in Canada here. Where was I? There I am. Okay. Yes, definitely. Law enforcement does get involved quite a lot. The system is a necessary thing, but it is not always equipped for something as nuanced as domestic violence. And I think that is kind of the key important thing when it comes down to it. Because police officers are not trained psychologists. They're not trained therapists. Like, they're not trained to handle those types of things. They're trained to see a situation and immediately determine something right off the bat. A lot of times survivors are believed or they're not. They're met with skepticism. Sometimes you get re-traumatized. Like, that actually happens quite frequently. Jesus, I hit my microphone. In 2023, 123,000 Canadians reported intimate partner violence to police. But experts are saying that number's way higher because so many things go unreported. And it's a very common thing, like especially when you are dealing with women and children and all that who are just afraid to speak. Like, we all know people like that who are just afraid to have these conversations. And that's just... It's the horrible side of the entire system that needs to be addressed on all levels, like not just from the survivor's side, because like you can only do so much as a survivor, but like the system itself needs to have that support in place to handle these situations, to be able to make that determination. That's an entire rant all on itself.
Yeah.
But basically, yes, if the cops and things do get involved, there needs to be a better system in place for survivors.
Oh yeah, that's a very good topic. And
It is.
if you want to segue into that question, Queen, and answering the question itself, but if you want to segue to what Chris said, please have the floor.
Yes, most definitely. With my situation, law enforcement was never involved voluntarily. There were scenes being made, screams being heard, furniture breaking, and so law enforcement was being called. Of course, there were lies being told, and no, it's not that bad. Well, I mean, the very first time I can personally trace back to that happening in that particular relationship, if I remember correctly, I think I was pregnant at the time with our oldest child. And it wasn't, anything crazy. We were wrestling and it just went too far. And you know what I mean? That was, one of those red flags, once again, that you don't even notice until it's too late. And I remember the cop saying, well, you're pregnant, and he put his hands on you. I don't care what you say. I'm about to lock this up. And I was like, I'm 9 months pregnant. I'm not giving birth alone. No, you're not. He didn't do anything. You know what? I don't know who called you. Bye. And I closed the door. No, no, it's fine. But I 1,000. It was a particular thing that Chris just said. It's not even just for survivors that the system needs to put in place for, because you could get survivors all of the resources. We can go take all the classes. We could do all the healing and the gratitude and the walks, and we could do all that and go on with our happy little lives, nice and healthy. But that abuser still walk around this world not doing any work. We did the hard work and they still got off easy. Whether they got their charges, whether life might be hell or whatever the case may be, you still did not have to do any personal work to fix those things. The same way I had to work on finding my worth. And like you said, Chris, trusting that gut instinct of you're in danger. Like that Simpson kid in the back of the bus. I'm in danger. When you got the trust that you're in danger, gut instinct over love. Because you know what I mean? And yeah, what's out there for the person who's like, you know what? I don't know why I'm like this, but it works for me, who may not want to be, because there's definitely a lane to be talked about of those who may have been that way at one point in time and then had to grow from their actions or grow up. And once they grew up, never ever had that issue a day in their lives, and wish they could come across more young men that are in those situations, or young women, to tell them, hey, you're not really mad at your partner. You don't really hate her. You hate yourself. But here's how we can fix that. You know what I mean?
Right.
If there were more systems in place, this would stop being the vicious cycle that it is. If there were more systems in place for both parties. I 1000% agree.
See, this whole conversation getting ready to take a whole different turn.
But
I'm
so
like,
we gonna
forget
go
these
somewhere with that,
questions,
aren't we?
right? Like,
We're
I'm
getting
going to
ready to
throw
make
these
a
questions
little. Wait a minute.
away.
We're getting ready
Forget
to
the
go somewhere
scripts.
with
We
that
go,
one.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I definitely 1000%. Oh my gosh, yes, because for me, it was me not making the report, but a friend of mine, and during that time, I was having to take medication. I was on oxycodone at the time for my pain, and so I was really like kind of out of it. And she was like, "You know what? I'm calling the police." Her and her daughter were like, "Yeah, we're calling." And I was like, "No, you don't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even just going to be bothered. The person's already gone, so who cares?" And it was like, well, and that was my second relationship, because my first relationship, I started to call, and that's when, but I knew I was going to kill him.
Mhm.
Actually, was planning it in my head,
Mhm.
because we had a planner on top of the um on the deck that was right there at the door, where I could have just, I mean, I was visioning it, and that's when I said,
Yeah.
"Oh shoot, wait a minute." So,
Yeah.
like, I the whole thing played in my head, and I saw the
Yeah.
neck, and you know what I
You
mean,
did the
and I was
Adam's
like,
apple. It's like, yep, just right there.
yeah,
Just
like,
that's it.
yeah.
When
I
things
was
get to
like,
that point, it's a
It's
good
time
time
to
to go, hey,
go.
maybe I
Time
should
to
yeah,
go.
go.
yes,
Time to go.
indeed, and
Time
that's
to
why I
go.
said that. That's why I was like, you know what? No, I know the time on that one. The other one, what I saw was that after the people, my friends, called the police, they were neighbors. And so the community really didn't care for this person. That's how much I was like, and it was wild, because when my child said, "I don't know anybody who likes him," that's the first time,
Mm,
I've ever seen that before. And I was like, yeah, I thought that, you know what, I am gonna go ahead through and the process, because I wasn't gonna go through it. Because I could easily have said, "I'm taking medication right now," you know what I mean? So no, this wasn't this, that, or the third, because I wasn't like bruised up or anything.
yeah.
So I was just like, but I said, you know what? I want to see if this person can get help. I want to see if he would go ahead and say, "Wait a minute, I am the problem."
Hmm.
And so we went through the court system, and I was there in the courtroom, and all he did was get mad because a judge was a female, and was telling him that he had to, um hello, how are you? It's great that you're
Good.
here. Devin, I appreciate you. We have Chris and Queen in the house, Queen of the Glide. She also goes by T Stack. So we were just right in the middle of the conversation, about domestic violence. We got into the part where we talked about the beginning of the signs, our significant others. What did we see? Any red flags? Was it, when do we know when it was time to leave? When it was a difficult leaving? We've gotten up to that part right now, where we're into about the police being called and the court being involved. And I was just stating that when I sat up there and saw that he got mad, so mad, because it was a female judge telling him that he had to go get help, that he had to take these classes through the House of Ruth, which is here in Maryland. And so, and I'm sure they might be across the world. I know that, but I'm just saying, in Maryland, I knew exactly where to go, and they were protecting me in between. So he just was calling me, and wanting to talk to me more so on a thing that, wait a minute, my parents are heard about this, and this female judge, she's being biased, and so, um, I just was in a hard place with my raising my daughter alone, and what she was going through, and how much weight I was taking on, going up against the school system, and when you're going up against the educational system already, and the political system is already involved, and now I got this going on. So I kind of was like, okay, you know what? I'm still not in a position to go ahead and roll solo, but I do have my own house. That was always important for me after my first relationship was have my own place. Because yeah, I'm not gonna get put out somewhere, or I have nowhere to go to get away from. So I used that as part of it, and seeing what he did and what he learned afterwards and all. And unfortunately, it was still within him. He just hid it for a while. He was really good at hiding it, for about a good year. And then he got back into it, and I was like, oh, okay. So, with that being said, Devin, is there anything that you want to say about domestic violence, and then we can get into our next question?
Um, I always seen a lot of people around me go through it more. So like family members would always go through it. My brother, my mother went through it from time to time. Sister, friend, niece, and I just always be there for them anytime that they went through those things. I just be a helping hand to them, whether they needed the advice, whatever, or whether they needed a protector or a defender, or and just come to their aid and be their Dr. Phil through the situation. So
Right, right. Wow, that's great. Because that's one of the things that Chris is actively doing there in Canada, is getting involved and with a group, and making sure it's gem for gems. Let me put that back up for the people, so that way they can check this out. But yeah, it's vitally important that we be there as well, and that means so much for somebody to just come and be like, you know what, I got you, and that makes somebody feel so much better. And so with that being said, we were going to go into, did you or the person know of have to hide or relocate because of fear of ongoing threats of violence?
So this one is definitely going to be diving more into the research side of things on my side there. But yes, it is a very common thing. A lot of times it's not even a clean break. It's changing everything. It's changing your number, social media, workplaces if possible, moving cities, like doing everything you can to completely split away from that situation. And even then, that kind of leaves a person with that whole having to look over your shoulder all the time, and that in itself
Mm-hmm.
creates a lot of internal struggle that just adds more stress, and can lead to depression and all that. Like, I think personally, the biggest problem is when kids are involved, when you have kids and then you have to worry about custody fights, and having, like, you, if you can't make a clean break, that is where more situations actually arise for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of trapped in the cycle of always having to deal with your abuser, even though you're trying desperately to split away from them. You're kind of stuck having to deal with the system and that type of thing, because it is such an inevitability when it comes to parental rights that
Mm-hmm.
even in those situations, the laws are still saying, hey, you still have to do this. And it's like, but you don't understand how bad this is for me. Like, I cannot
Mm-hmm.
have this type of situation. And then just the extra legal hoops you have to jump through just to survive away from your abuser is it's a lot. It's a lot for somebody to deal with. And again, that's why I keep harping on having a support system. But that's where it comes from, is like the need to have a support system to help you through. If you got to go invisible, if you got to completely ghost and change your life and all of that, do it. But make sure you have a support system that can help you do it, because going solo sucks. No one wants to do that.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's a fallback for somebody because of trying to have the strength to muster up to get out. And when it's children involved, it's like you said, it just complicates it all the way up to a different level. And so, one of the things I want to throw out there to you, since you said that as well, is, where does therapy come into play? Particularly if somebody is trying to hide from the abuser, and get away from them.
I think that ultimately depends on your safety level. Like, how safe are you in this specific moment? Like, if if you are safe enough, that therapy is an option to any time, because like that type of therapy will help with not only your mental stability, but being able to properly organize your thoughts in a way that is more constructive than destructive. And but again, like that type of thing is not always possible when it comes down to it, because a lot of times these things happen very fast, and if you have to be the one that's kind of cutting and running and disappearing and changing everything, you don't have time to call up your therapist and go, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. It's like, this is what I have to do. And then when life slows down, then yeah, definitely get into therapy. But it's kind of one situation at a time, I would say. It kind of depends.
Okay, Queen.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, it was
I
definitely
was
on. And that's
All
okay.
right, can you repeat the base question for me? I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. When did you or did that person you know of have to hide? Yeah, did you or that person you know of have to hide or relocate because of fear of ongoing threats of violence?
Um, Personally, no, I did not have to hide. There were definitely a few heated situations where I tried to separate myself or leave, and was followed to each location and scenes were made and things like that. But no, never had to hide. However, I do know someone who did. And the bad part about it was this person was not only trying to hide themselves from their abuser, they were trying to hide the fact that they were being abused while hiding from the abuser.
Mm.
So I'm just coming to hang out. You know what? I think I'm gonna stay a couple more days. And it's like, why you don't want to go home? I love
Mm-hmm.
you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not rushing you, but why are you here? Why are you really
Mm-hmm.
here? What's going on? No, well, I just don't like the way they talk to me. Well, how does he talk to you? I mean, he calls me out of my name, and huh? And of course, especially if you've been a survivor, you don't ever want to be the person that goes, this person, I would never, because those are just those habitual, stereotypical things that we have all heard. And it it scratches that little surface and that vein in the back of your neck. Like, what if I hear it like one more time? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But eventually it all came out. And while this person was going through all of this, she was disabled and had broken a bone in her foot and could not walk. And while she could not walk, we are thinking everything's fine. And no, she was being tossed around every which way but loose. While in a wheelchair, has been dumped out the wheelchair, thrown around the room. And no one knew till she came to visit and just didn't want to leave. And then he shows up. Oh, I just, I ain't seen y'all in a minute. Let's hang out. Okay, cool. Because we don't know
Mm-hmm.
anything that's going on. And it's not until it gets to the point where it got deadly almost. Knives are drawn, and somebody was gonna have to go up out of here tonight. Where it all came out with no, let's tell you the real reason I was at your house. Oh, so why you didn't say that? And then once again, you don't want to say that stereotypical thing that you as a survivor have heard. So you just kind of muster it up and go, so what do you need me to do?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to force resources of, well, call the police, file a report, because we all know what the answers to those questions and those type of pressures can be, especially if you're not in a position that you're ready to heal, or if you're not even in a situation where you want to progress on those type of situations. Some people are good just separating themselves. You go your way, I go my way. As long as you don't touch me, everybody lives happily ever after. Then you have some people that need to make sure law enforcement's involved. We need paperwork, restraining orders, and a paper trail. Because with a paper trail, at least if you have to go file for your own form of protection and it does get deadly on your behalf, you're covered.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do very well believe in self-defense by
Mm-hmm.
all extents of the law. You know what I mean? So when it comes down
Mm-hmm.
to hiding, I personally never had to hide, but I have been in a direct situation where a person was in front of me hiding it all and I didn't know. And the kind of pit that puts in your soul as a survivor is one that I don't think gets talked about enough. When you're around other people, and you could pick out the ones that you know, but what about the ones you knew nothing of that were just as good as hiding it as you were?
Mm.
Yeah. So that's my experience with hiding. Yeah,
Wow, that
that's
was
my experience
great.
with hiding.
Thank you. Devin.
All right, what's up? I'm here.
Okay. Do you or a person you know of have to hide or relocate before because of fear or anger of threats of violence?
Not anybody that I know now. But like I said, because people would go. I would see people do. They got all these Lifetime movies today, or put all these movies on Tubi and all these things, and I'd be like, "There's people that done went through this, in real life, whatever." So before y'all making all these movies and doing all these things and making y'all money off of it, or saying this, some of them do be true stories, I'd be like, it'd be like regular people like us, or right on here, like ourselves that go through this all the time,
Mhm.
or to be having friends or people that have went through all those things, as well. But I did see one friend that I know too, similar, go through that, whatever. And I would just always wonder why they want to hang out with me all the time, why they want to escape, or they just use excuse. Oh yeah, let's smoke, or let's go have a drink. And I just was wondering why they always want to be around me so much. But it was a similar thing like that, as well too. That was just explained as well too. So yeah, I've seen a few go through it, but yeah, I'd be like, yeah, they make all these movies. I'd be like, look, I know people that go through this for real, for real. But yeah,
Right. Right. And it's wild because they act like it was something new when they started putting the movies out. But it was good though to have people in a way to open them up because they weren't believing. Those movies open people up to see what different types look like, different types of abuse, uh, the violence that comes with things, people really getting to see it. And I know that through interviews, and actors and actresses both were like, wow, it took a lot to get into that character, or something, because to have to play that or to feel the to feel it, because you're having to really, act it out, because they also know somebody who has gone through it, if not themselves. So I can appreciate those who are not looking at it just for money and are looking at it that they would like to get something out, and help people to understand this is what's really going on out here. So with that being said, oh, the cat is joining us. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go into the next one. How can we help ourselves and others to reduce the risk of being involved with someone that is violent? And I will also add abusive.
Yeah. So first off, we have to kind of stop pretending that abuse is always looks violent. It often starts with words, pressure, possessiveness, control disguised as care.
Mm,
That's kind of one of the biggest things is, and tricking ourselves into not believing our instincts. That the pit in your stomach, that's the flinch is a big thing that actually happens quite a lot, that people don't even realize. Like, if you have a parent or a partner that is always working nights and sleeps during the day, you tiptoe extra quietly on eggshells, and then anybody
mhm,
makes any noise, you know what's going to happen, right? So that just kind of literally becomes part of your DNA and who you are. Like, that's actually a form of abuse right there in itself.
mhm,
you know, that type of thing. We need to educate and teach people, especially young people, how to kind of name those red flags. We need to stop romanticizing jealousy, I think, is a big thing, especially when it comes to that. Manipulation being called passion. Um, Basically, just raising the standard of what love actually is and what you are um, owed when it comes to being loved, and what is bad love, that type of thing. Excuse me. We need to reduce risk by refusing to shame people that have been abused and are survivors.
mm,
The stigma that comes with being a survivor is massive. Like, I've literally when it comes to the documentary, had companies tell me no, they're not going to back it or sponsor the documentary because of what the topic is. Like, that in itself is a problem. Like, if you cannot discuss the topic and it becomes that much of a big issue, then like, what the hell are we doing? Like, that needs to change more than anything, because it's just, that's not how you get people out, and nobody should be, you know, suffering through that type of thing. It's, you know, people need to understand how much support is there, what support somebody feels, and the earlier that people can recognize the danger that they're in, the more likely they'll be able to not only escape but become what they're worth and grow from the situation. Yeah, that's basically my point, or my 2 cents on the topic.
Thank you, Queen. I'm not sure if something happened, because I know her picture just went out. Oh, there. Wait a minute. Can you hear us? Because we definitely can't hear you. Okay, she has to come back in. Go ahead, Devin. Take it away.
What was it again? Run it by me one more time. 'Cause I'm moving around the house as I speak to. I literally just had gotten the house and made it before the stream too.
Oh, that's okay. There's, and I appreciate you coming on. So the question is that, how? I mean, do you? No, I'm sorry. Blah blah. Blah. How can we help ourselves and others to reduce the risk of being involved with someone that is violent or abusive?
Okay. Well, with that, I mean, it just depends. Because all right, like I said, we all grown. Everybody going be what they be, do what they want to do, hang out with who they want to hang out with. But once you get to the point where you've had enough, just like that movie, what was it? Medea. That Medea movie is where they said once a woman has had enough, she'll know when she has had enough. She'll be done. You know, whether it's with evil, whether it's with somebody that she don't like being around, somebody that's causing her trouble, that's just doing her wrong. Like they get to the point where they see enough is enough, and I've been around a few people that are just like, yeah, like this is not for me. They're not the same energy, not the same vibe. Like I need a refresher. I need to be better. I need to be in a better environment. I need to just get back to being me and eliminate all that other stuff, all that other mess that's not needed. So yeah. That's what. So that's what I say on that. I've seen a few go through that too.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, Queen. Thank you. I'm glad you came back.
Yes, I had to refresh. I don't know what happened here. To answer the question, I agree with what Chris said before I had to refresh. We have to stop romanticizing toxicity. You know, everybody wants toxic love now. Oh, if he chased me down, he loved me. Oh, if she don't play about me, my girl crazy about me. Oh, that's no, stop. We have to stop there. We have to stop putting those kind of things in music, TVs, you know, everything that's, you know, romanticizing that controlling, possessive behavior of love is a good start. The other avenue, and this is probably going to be a very out of the box opinion, we have to start with what is defined as your at risk youth. And why do I say that? These are the people who begin their lives in abuse. So what do they say? The abuser or the abusee ends up becoming the abuser. So if you get to the at-risk youth and the ones who are by statistical numbers bound to be in abusive situations or dangerous situations, and you would still value love, red flags, understanding that you don't have to do this if you don't want to, understanding that abuse don't mean you just got to get smacked and punched on. By a person telling you you can't be with nobody but me because nobody wants you but me, that is still abuse. You know, if we can do the small one little steps with our children, I think we can make an entire generation that might just have a different standpoint on what abuse could look like. Very out of the box opinion, I know, but sometimes, yeah, we're grown. And sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But when you get that new puppy, you know what not to do no more.
Hmm.
That's just my opinion.
I know that's right, y'all. Y'all got me over here just tilted back like, yes, yes, everybody is just opening me up to, and these are refreshing. It actually, like, I can breathe through this because of the trauma. When you even think about it, sometimes we can hold trauma in our bodies and not know it. And those triggers happen. So that, just to know that I can breathe through as we're going through this, is just like, I hope that somebody else can, reach that point and hear us talking and understand that you're not alone and you're not being judged. We just want you to be safe. We want you to be able to get the assistance that you need as a survivor and a person that is the abuser too. Again, it cannot be about judgment because we don't know why people become abusive. We don't know why they become violent. But as Queen was saying, and Chris was making points and Devin making points, that it all blends into one thing, and that is the safety and being able to get back to self in a way where that kind of thing just, it doesn't need to haunt you every time, but you understand and you learn when you're starting to get to that point, or somebody is starting to get to that point towards you. Then it's like, where's that let me stop button? Let me just walk away button. Let me just go ahead and, because I know even with people, they want to finish that argument when somebody walks away. They want to fit, they got the, they going to follow, they going, do everything that they can. They're going to throw everything at you so that way you don't. So those are the things that I want people to understand, that no matter what side of the coin that you are on, um, understand that there is something that you can do about it. You're not, all hope is not lost. And so you will definitely make sure to have some resources available. If you're definitely in Canada, then um, we have a place, but I'm going to make sure that I do that, and put that up when my podcast is streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. But I will make sure that I follow up with some places that people can call, like the House of Ruth and stuff like that as well. If you need a support system and you do not have it within family and friends, understand somebody at some point is going to be able to assist you. Even that goes for therapy. You might not have the right therapist the first time. Do not give up on it. um, or whatever that you're doing, because some, times, it may be a religious belief where you go to a certain type of person, you do certain things, don't just stop doing what you're doing, but actually get involved into it, because we lose ourselves. And that's what life is really about, is that we lose ourselves and we find ourselves in positions and places that we're like, what? Like, okay, did not think that, like that wasn't supposed to be me. But it is, and it's okay. It's okay today. So, what message do you want to get across about the levels of domestic abuse, including violence, and to assist others who are going through or who have been through the trauma?
Okay. I'm going to try to keep this one shorter because I could rant about this one for a bit. So all right, here we go.
Ye-
There is no such thing as a little abuse. There's no such thing as it's not that bad when you feel unsafe in your own body or in your own home. It's abuse. If someone is making you feel smaller, silencing your voice, controlling your movements, isolating you from the people who love you, that counts. Emotional abuse is abuse. Financial abuse is abuse. Psychological manipulation, gaslighting, love bombing, jealousy, all of that shit is abuse. And the longer we downplay it, the longer we excuse it, the more survivors are going to stay silent. Or worse, not leave, be stuck in the exact same thing. There is no such thing as too late to leave. There is no such thing as not enough to justify getting help. If it hurts, if it's controlling you, if it scares you, then it's enough. You are enough, and you deserve to have more than living your life in fear. And no one should ever have to feel that way. Not with kids, people, men, women. It doesn't matter. No one deserves that. And if you even slightly feel that's you, this is your sign. This is the time to get into it. And, do the right thing for yourself. I'm done.
I loved it. Just because you can't see it don't mean it ain't abuse. Just because those bruises didn't show up, that scratch ain't there, just because your pride don't show on your chest, just because the self insecurities that you have had to digest by a person trying to project onto you didn't actually leave you with a black eye, didn't make it any less abuse. I remember when I was first beginning to tell my story, and was like, well, I never saw you with any bruises. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, that's convenient. Thank you for letting me know how much I was hiding my pain. Go T. But
Yeah.
I think the biggest message there for me is just, and it's not just for the survivors, it is also for the people who may be in the midst of someone still trying to get out of there. And you think you know what's going on, but I mean, they ain't never came around me with a black eye or a bruise. I mean, she said it was just a push. Ain't like he slapped her. Just because it didn't leave a mark on you didn't mean it was any less abuse than you getting directly punched in your face. Somebody telling you you are unworthy of love, you will never be this, never be that. Somebody making you believe that you can't do anything in the world without them, live without them, breathe without them, eat without them. It's still just as bad as somebody closing up on.
Oh no. A part of you got froze like twice. Can you repeat the last of it, Queen?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Oh, it's happening right now.
Just,
Oh shoot.
Bad
Oh.
signal. Give
Yeah.
it a bit. We'll come back.
Yes. Even if you have to come back in, I definitely want to hear what you have to say. Dev, what's going on with you, man? Talk to us. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, are you good, Queen?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Before I press reload? Okay, I was about to hit reload again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I was saying that a person making you believe that you cannot move without them, that you are not worthy without them, or making you feel unsafe in a way that you don't even know what you can or cannot do in life, especially as a grown adult, is just as bad as them balling up their fists and socking you right now. So just because the marks aren't there don't mean the abuse is any less relevant.
Absolutely. Okay, Devin.
All right. Chris had said something that made me think about something because okay, far as what advice or what I would give them or say to them, I would just more than just be there for them, but also it was like he said something that was a key point, and I would say that to them just as well, and and I would say it to anybody else anytime they're going through those kind of things or these kind of things. Is you are enough. Enough is enough. Like you've had enough, so enough is enough, and you are enough. Like I would tell people that as well sometimes too. Sometimes people just need to be reminded when they're going through all that, or going through all that hell, all that struggle, all that mess, and they just need to be somebody right there for them and just tell them that it's okay. Like it's you get outside, enjoy the fresh air, take a walk, go to the lake, go to the park, enjoy life, whatever. It's still, time for you to get everything right, and do what you need to do and make things all better. And you just go from there. And that's what they need a lot of times when they go through that, whatever. Somebody just to have them be like, look, because when they going through all that, whatever, it's like they could feel so horrible, they could feel so stressed,
Mm-hmm.
they could feel so ugly, everything.
Mm-hmm.
All that they could feel like that they not worth it, like just feel like everything, ton of bricks on them, all that. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
when you just right there for them, just to give them that good vibe or that good advice, or just to make them smile or whatever, or just give them what they need for that day, whatever. Because they could be ready to just, they'd be ready to just jump off a bridge or something, because you never know how crazy it can get for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to be right there for them, be influential to them, and just be downright to have their back and show them like, look, I'm not here for nothing, just to have your back and just to pick you up and give you a helping hand, dust you off, and send you back out there to the world.
Wow. Wow, y'all sure knew how to close it up with some bangers, right? Okay, well, I'm going to talk about something else. Like, wait a minute, y'all, we got more time. No, I really thank you guys. If anybody has anything that they would like to say about a question or an answer, real quick, that they had on their minds, please do so now. Before I close out the show, because I have no problems with that. So, Queen, did you have something to say?
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh, okay, because I just want to make sure, because we really got intense there, and I thank you guys so much, because that was a lot. That was really great energy coming from everybody, and things that, of course, y'all heard me go
Yeah, yeah,
So those are the things that make you go if you're old enough to know that, then
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
you got. So my thing that I want to get across to people is everything that each person said on the panel is exactly where you can start. You have right there just enough gems to go ahead and get started wherever you're at, and giving yourself grace as you're going through the process. Be patient with yourself too, because you may not go out faster. Things may not calm down as fast as you like them to, or you being able to go ahead and do what you needed to do. And you feel so much of the guilt, and you swallow all of that guilt and that shame, and the fear is already going through your body. It lives inside of there. And so I would like for you to know that there are places like the House of Ruth. If you can get to those places, it's great. But if you cannot, or you're thinking that it's just a little abuse, it's okay to talk to people, and talk to the right ones that knows they're going to watch what their words are. You got somebody. You might be where you work with, or somebody that you are around, that you know that person trustworthy, and you're trusting your gut and saying, okay, I'm not sure if I'm ready, but I need to at least start talking. And break your silence. It's okay to break that silence. And that's the first step. And everybody has given you all the gems that I can't possibly just go back over and say, because I will just be repeating what they said and keeping them longer. So, with that being said, everybody, again, thank you for our special guest here on the show. Again, reintroduce yourselves just in case somebody comes in late.
What's up? My name is Chris Corvin, multimedia producer. You can find me everywhere online at Chris of the Void. And yeah, thank you so much, Christy, for having me. This has been amazing. I love having these discussions with you, and I
You're
love you.
welcome. I love you too, my dear. Thank you. Okay, Queen.
Hi guys, once again, I am T Stacks, also known as Queen of the Vibes. That's Queen VYBEZ. I am an independent artist and culture curator. Anything music related, anything talent or creativity, I am your girl. Be sure to follow me, and I do have music on all platforms. That's T $TACCZ. And Christy, thank you so much. If you do any more of these with great topics, I would love to be a part of many more panels. This was amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Devin, come on, brother. We got to get you back in and get everybody re-familiarized with you. Usually on Fire Bars Friday.
Yeah. I might end up returning to that because I don't know what's going on. We need to either revamp our stuff again or do some recruiting or things as well. But yeah, I'm a manager, artist, promoter, battle rapper, league owner, as well. Guerrilla Warzone Battle League is my league as well too. So that's a few little things I do as well. Jack of all trades, and I've done it all. I've spoke for people at rallies. I've done. I've just about back in the day. I met this lady named Yolanda Landy Robinson. So when I came over here to New Jersey, she just pretty much had me at mother events, queen events, and and originally I would just help her out and set up the event or design it and everything. And then, she ended up being like my little mentor over here and put me on so much after just meeting me and giving me an interview, and then took me under her wing and just taught me the game. And she was like, look, after I'm done with you, you're going to have your own business. So you're going to be doing it all. And before you know it, like 6 months later, it all came true. And I called her and I was like, you know what? Anything you said I was going to be doing, I'm just about doing. I said, wow. I said, all right.
That's right.
I said, okay. I said, I appreciate you. I said, yeah, you believed in me. And now look. So, yeah. So let's work. Hit me up, anybody. As well, I'll be coming on these shows. Whenever she needs me on, if I'm available, you'll see me pop on. From time to time as well too. So yeah, I love everybody. Keep doing what y'all doing too.
We thank you, and I do thank the great work that everybody is doing. I have been a domestic violence advocate for at least 12 years now, and so I think it's an honor to help somebody else as I was supported through my journey afterwards. And I there for people who are doing their journey now as well. And it's very difficult, but I have to understand myself that people need their own time and to be able to give them that grace as well as that I needed it during the time that I was going through. So we thank you guys, everybody, for joining us tonight here on Journey and Gems with Farley and Friends. Thank you again, Andrew O'Leary in Wales, for doing my theme song for the show. I appreciate you guys. Much blessings. Have a great night to everybody. And thank you for being a blessing to somebody out there who needed you guys.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great night.
You too, my dear.
Appreciate y'all.
Lights low, hush, and the voice rises, steady resonant. Arrival. They call her Christy Farley, not just a name, but a force, a current moving through silence, a spark light in the dark corners of forgotten voices. Spoken word artist, international author, visionary, creative leader. Do you feel it? Every title is not a crown she wears, but a seed she plants, the vision. See, Christy does not just speak, she creates echo. Her words ripple across oceans, bridging cities, bridging lives, bridging souls that thought they were alone. Her eyes, telescopes, seeing galaxies of possibility where others saw only night. Her hands, blueprints, sketching new ways to rise, new ways to lead, new ways to believe. The platforms, a chat show, a podcast, a lifeline broadcast into the world. On Facebook Live, she becomes both stage and sanctuary, turning screens into gathering fires where strangers become friends. And friends become family. She is the voice that welcomes you. Welcome to Journey and Gems. And in that welcome you realize you are not just a listener, you are a gem too. You are part of the journey and the vision expands. Journey and Gems with Farley and poetess and spoken word artist. Member of Two Tempted and the boss of Blue Mamba. Not just programs, movements, not just podcasts. Bridges for the world to cross. Leadership, Christy is not chasing applause. She's not chasing fame, she's chasing truth. And truth, my friends, is the rarest currency in this world. Her leadership, it does not dominate, it elevates. It does not silence, it amplifies. She lives stories the way sunlight lifts shadows. She builds bridges the way rivers carve valleys. She connects voices across continents, across languages, across borders. Because vision knows no border. The fire, listen. Christy is not just speaking, she is summoning. Every word a spark, every pause a drumbeat. She tells the world, create, connect, believe, and the world answers back. Because her call is not small, it is global. She's not just one leader, she is the echo of many. The rhythm of community, the sound of tomorrow rising in today's throat, the anthem. So let the chorus rise. Journey and Gems, a space for the broken to heal. Journey and Gems with Farley and poetess and spoken word artists, where laughter and wisdom meet at the same table. Raw, real, and shaken truth that dares to speak what others silence. From glass kiss to lip streams, her spirit ascends. Christy the host, the visionary, the friend. Her connections circle the globe like constellations, threaded together by her light. CEO, creator, dreamer. Her presence, a song we never forget. The legacy. Mark this moment, cause voices like hers do not fade. They multiply, they ignite new voices, they inspire new leaders. She is the question and the reply. She is thunder and soft sky. She is wisdom written, spoken, lived. And when Christy Farley speaks, the world listens. Not because they are told to, but because they want to. Because the words are wings, the closing. So stand with me as the anthem flows. Raise your eyes to the vision she casts. Raise your hearts to the fire that lasts. Christy Farley, a gem, a journey, a guide through the storm. Spoken word artist, international author, visionary, creative leader. Remember her name, carry her flame, because this is not just her story. This is ours.